what is Java.
Advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah. So can anybody tell some of the advantages of using Java?
Multi-threading and
Yes.
object communication
Hmm.
and memory management.
Very good. Yes.
Mm, yeah.
Sorry. Come again. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So anything else? Fine. No problem. Okay. See. Uh, just to, in the previous session also we compared with other language C, C++, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So all programs, okay, so whatever the language, they follow some syntaxes, right?
Mm,
So for writing the instructions, so instructions means nothing but something you're giving input to your machine to do some operation. Okay, so for writing instruction you need some language. Okay, so that means that language here we call it as syntax. Syntax means you should understand, so in what way you are conveying that instruction to your machine. Okay, so for C follows some syntaxes, C++ follows some syntaxes, and Java follows some syntaxes. Okay, but the same thing, same operation. Say for example, in C++ we use printf for printing the values on the console. The same way what we do here in Java is system.out.println. We use the same like printing the values on console. Okay, that is
mm,
the main difference. So instructions uh, means the syntaxes here. So syntaxes are different, that's it, but operation wise both are same. Okay, and so today we'll start what exactly Java, the structure of Java. See here.
mm,
So Java application in top level, like if you are developing any Java application in top level, it will be there. So inside that you have to write some collection of programs, Java programming language, using Java programming language, and inside that this is the main core area how that programs get executed. Okay, see, so as I said, Java is object oriented language. Object oriented language, that means that everything will be in objects format. Okay, whatever the uh, instructions you are writing, okay, you should write within object. Okay, so that is why we are saying that like C++ also object oriented programming language. So we can say that both are Java and C++ are object oriented. Anything, whatever the instructions you are writing, you should put in inside the object. So what is object here? So object is nothing but, okay, like template, we can say that template. Okay, so that template, how we are defining here is by using class. Okay, so class here is nothing but blueprint. Okay, it's a blueprint. So like if you want to create a template, say for example, let me take one example, biodata form. That is a template. Okay, you are creating one template like biodata, so that collects the information about any person. So what we can do is, in Java terminology we can call it as uh, like biodata class. Say for example, biodata class. Biodata is a template. Okay, inside that what are the fields are there, like name, first name, last name, age, something like that. Okay, in your programming language you can define like template by using class. Okay, so after creating class, what you should do, you should instantiate first. So I'm using the word here instantiation. So instantiation is nothing but so creating the instance of that object, instance of the class. Okay, instance of the class is nothing but so you are creating one copy. Now you have the template. A number of persons can use the template, right? Say for example, Ratna will use for filling her own biodata information, and Suresh and Venkatesh. Now Ratna is nothing but instance, okay, and Suresh is nothing but one instance, biodata instance. Similarly, Venkatesh. Okay, this is nothing but instantiation. So you are passing the template to one person and fill that information. That is nothing but instantiation. So create a class template first and provide the values by instantiating. Okay, so that is nothing but instance, object instance. Okay,
Okay.
clear? Fine. So coming to this core concept, here what we do is we have Java class library. So Java class library, suppose see if you are writing any instruction, so as I said we need syntax, right? That syntax already defined in Java in some particular class. Okay, now what I'm doing, I'm using like printing values on console. I'm using the syntax for system.out.println. Okay, this syntax what tells is it prints the values on the console. Okay, so before that, that system.out.println, what exactly it is, where exactly define that system.out.println, how it will print the values on the console. Okay, we have set of libraries in Java, so those will take care of this implementation. So already they defined so what exactly it has to do when you pass this instruction. Okay, so like that, so whatever the syntax we use in our programming language, for each and every syntax there will be one particular class, and that particular class will define that operation. Okay, so those classes they achieved in one some jar file or something. Okay, so those are nothing but libraries. So we call it as Java class libraries because it is supporting Java. That's why we are saying that Java class libraries. Fine, clear? Next, Java virtual machine. Okay, now coming to the JVM, this is very important concept. So if anyone asks you what is exactly JVM, so the what is JVM is nothing but Java virtual machine. What exactly it does? So this is nothing but an interpreter for bytecode. Okay, so earlier we discussed so Java is platform independent. How it become platform independent? Because it is generating bytecodes instead of executable code. It is generating bytecodes, right?
Yeah.
So bytecodes nothing but intermediate code in between your programming and mission. Okay, so these bytecodes are interprets with JVM. Okay, so now say for example if you want to execute those bytecodes you require JVM, like it will convert that bytecodes into executable code in real time. Like say for example now we have written one program system.out.println. Once you compile that, so what it will do is it will converts into bytecodes. Okay, now I said Java is platform independent. That bytecodes I will take and I will go to a Linux system. Earlier I compiled that program in Windows system. Okay, I'll pick that bytecodes and I will put it into Linux system and I will execute. Okay, there I require JVM because JVM is the main thing which interprets with that bytecode and it will convert into mission understandable code, that is nothing but executable code. Okay, So JVM will interprets with that bytecodes and it will execute. Okay, so what are the things are available in JVM? So simply assume that JVM is an interpreter for bytecodes. Okay, now the second point is inside JVM, what are the things are available? Like in Java Virtual Machine, so we have JIT, just in time. Okay, the abbreviation for JIT is just in time. It is a part of JVM. It's a part of JVM. So what it will do? So as I said, JVM is a interpreter for bytecodes, right? So inside JVM, there is a just in time is there. What it will do is it compiles bytecode. Okay, so now interpreter means what it will do, it will understand that bytecodes, right? For understanding, so you need to compile again, right? The initially what we are doing, so in Java program, after writing the program, what you are doing is you are compiling. That means your Java compiler will do that work. Now after compiling, what it is doing, it is generating the bytecodes. So Java compiler part is over. Now it is generated bytecode, so now one compiler has to be there, so to understand that bytecodes, right? So this JIT will do that work. It will understand that bytecodes, okay, and converts into executable code. So this is very important at the point of entry point of time, what JIT will does. So JIT will compile the bytecodes, okay, and converts into executable code, mission understandable code. Okay, so and also what it does is it improves the performance of interpretation. What is the main advantage of using JIT? It compiles the bytecodes and converts into executable code, first point, and also it improves the performance of interpretation. So that means it will fastly, it will interpret with bytecodes and it will execute just in time. That's why it is they are calling just in time. In Java compiler, it will take some time, but here it won't take that much time at the time of converting bytecodes into executable codes. Okay, that is why they said just in time. So it will immediately, it will convert bytecodes into executable code and it will execute. Clear? So JIT is part of JVM. Fine. And one more is there, JRE, Java Runtime Environment. This is very much important whenever you go like if you want to implement your Java programs, if you want to execute your Java programs, you need environment that is called Java Runtime Environment. Okay, so Java Runtime is nothing but implementation of Java Virtual Machine. Okay, so this is called total is Java Runtime Environment. Clear? Any doubts? So JRE is nothing but an implementation of Java Virtual Machine. Java Virtual Machine. Okay. So what Java Virtual Machine does? It executes Java programs, right? Now simple, right? Now I can say simply Java JVM executes Java programs. That's it. Internally, if you dig now, so what will happen? So inside the JVM, what it does? It interprets with the bytecodes. Again, if you dig, so what will be there inside JVM? JIT will be there. So JIT will take care of that bytecodes compilation and converts into mission understandable code. That is nothing but executable code. Okay. JIT will take care of that. So now if you come we can say simply, if suppose what is JVM means, JVM we use for executing Java programs. That's it. Okay. But someone, if you are suppose if anybody asks you like so what exactly JVM does, that means that so you just put these two lines like JIT will be there inside the JVM, so that will take care of these things. Okay, already JVM what exactly does is it will just simply interpret with bytecodes and it will convert bytecodes into executable code. Okay, so these are the main points you can just say in entry point of time. Okay, fine. So addition to that, so in this chart there are class libraries, class loader, verifier, execution. These are all there, right? So these class libraries are nothing but, so as I said, so whenever you write a Java program, that syntax are there, right? So for syntaxes reference, what we need, Java class library. So that syntax definition will be there inside these class libraries. Okay, so while writing your syntaxes, while writing your programs, you need to import these class libraries. Okay, you need to import these class libraries inside your Java programs. Okay, that is the purpose of class library. Next, inside JVM, again, one more thing is class loader. What is exactly this class loader? What it exactly does? Fine. Your class library is there outside of Java virtual machine. That means that so it is there in some different folder. Okay. So at the time of running your program, you need that class because you already defined that information in your class only. Okay. So say for example, I have written the syntax system.out.println. So where exactly that definition is available? It is there in that some class, system class. That system class where it is exist in this Java class library. So at the time of executing your program, your JVM will take care of those things. So the class loader will take care of loading that class. What it will do is whenever it is executing Java program, it will load all the required classes first to execute that Java program. Required classes means whatever the syntaxes you have written inside the programs, so that relevant classes it will load first. Okay, so it will load those classes by using class loader. Fine. This verifier is nothing but, so it will check that definition is as per the syntax or not. Okay, verifier means validates and execution will execute. Clear? Next, here Java native interface. This is very important. Like Java native interface we use for, like, if you are communicating other than Java language code. If you are trying to execute other than Java language syntaxes, okay, that time we use Java native interface. Okay, in Java we can execute some other programming language also by using Java native interface. Okay, so how it will execute means we will tell during our sessions. Okay, I will explain that topic wise. Fine. So now you remember, so what are the things it will do. Now JVM is clear, right? This is very important, JVM. Okay, and if I ask JRE, Java runtime environment, means what is the Java runtime environment? To execute Java programs you required Java runtime environment. So Java runtime environment consists JVM. Okay, so Java virtual machine. That is simply we can say Java runtime environment is an implementation of JVM. Clear?
Yeah.
Fine. Now, this entire thing is called JDK. Whatever we are using, class, library, virtual machine verifier, execution, class loader. So there are some other things also there. Here I didn't mention, like tools, whatever the tools are available in JDK, like compiler. That verifier means inside the verifier, those things will come. Verifying compiler you required, right? That is nothing but by tool using you can compile, like Java C. Okay, to run execute that program, use Java tool. Okay, so those are all bundled in this JDK. Okay, so JDK is nothing but bundle of software. Okay, bundle of software that we can use develop Java based software. Clear? Why we use JDK? If you want to develop Java applications, you require JDK. Clear? Fine. So any doubts in this?
No.
Suresh, Venkatesh? Any doubts?
No, Rudra.
Fine.
You said like other things also existed in I mean this JDK, so they are like JNDI and JMS, like rest of all things, right? This all comprises of like JDK,
Exactly.
RMI
Yes.
and some other. Okay.
Yeah. Those are concepts.
Okay.
Okay. So how we use, how means for specific purpose we implemented those things. Okay. Those are nothing but APIs. Again, class library, Java class libraries.
Okay.
Okay. So for each class there is a purpose. Fine. Okay. Let me start with simple program. So first thing is we have to write a code. Second, it will compile and it will convert into bytecode. And third step is execute the code. Okay. 3 steps we need to do: write the code, compile the code, and run the code. Okay. Now let me give simple example. I have class called public class main class. So main class is the name of the class. Okay, here the class name is main class. The syntax is, now just remember that whatever the syntax I am writing here, just only remember. Okay, so I will again tell what exactly it is and how to declare a class, how to declare a method, and each and everything. So in further topics we will discuss. Okay, now just simply assume that, so how I am writing the code. Okay, understand the code, that's it. So here I am writing one class, public class main class. Here I have written one method, public static void main. It requires one argument array, and it prints system.out.println Java. So this programs just prints some contents on console. That's it. Okay, I'm just simply putting Java inside this system.out.println, and it will print Java on console. That's it. Okay, so now I have written the program. Now how it will execute? Let's see this flow. First, after writing any Java program, what you have to do is you have to provide extension .java. Okay, so all Java programs follows this extension .java, all files. Okay, so Java files will have extension .java. Clear? So whatever the programs you are writing, save it in your disk. In disk, just put .java as extension. If you don't put that Java extension, it will store by default txt, text format. Okay, but don't do that, because if you write in txt, so you cannot compile the code and you cannot tell to your tool, Java tool, so what exactly it does. Okay, so that is the reason why we are doing is we are putting .java for those files. So write your program and save it as .java extension. Okay, clear? Now compiler. So now you have written the code, so you have to tell your Java compiler, I have written the code, just compile it, validate it, whether I properly followed the syntaxes or not. So it will validate, first thing. And second thing is, if suppose if any problem is there inside your program, the compiler immediately will tell this is the place you are written some mistake. Okay, so that work the compiler will do. So now once your program is completely syntactically is correct, then what it will do is it will convert into bytecodes. Okay, so your Java tool, one of the Java tool, that is Java C, Java compiler. Java C means Java compiler. Okay, what it does is after validating your code, so it will convert into bytecodes. Okay, so that bytecodes it will save it as in .class format. Okay, so this is nothing but bytecodes information. Now these class files you can execute anywhere. These class files you can execute anywhere, means any operating system, any platform. Okay, so this is very important. So directly you can carry these .class files one place to another place. Okay, and provide JVM, and JVM will interpret with bytecode. So instead of .java. Clear? So first you write a code and save it as in .java extension, and your compiler will compile that program and it will execute .class files. So it will generates .class files. So what .class files will contain? Bytecodes. Fine. Now your JVM will come into the picture. What JVM does? It interprets with bytecodes, right? So internally how it does? See here. First initial step is your class loader. Okay, your class loader will load all the required classes first from the class library. This class loader will load all required classes from class library, then passes the bytecodes to Java interpreter and just-in-time compiler. This just-in-time compiler will compile bytecodes. What it does again? It will convert bytecodes into executable code. That is nothing but runtime system. Runtime system will understand that executable code and it will execute. Okay, so here I mentioned operating system. So operating system, what it will do? It will understand that bytecodes. So bytecodes, sorry, your operating system will understand executable codes. That means ones and zeros. Okay, that will execute in hardware somewhere inside that operating system, and it will give the output back to your console hardware. Okay, whatever software we can call. Okay, this is the flow. Yeah, Java interpreter is nothing but which interprets with bytecodes. Okay, so for example, interprets with bytecodes are nothing but, so after compiling it generates the .class file, right? So in .class file, whether it is properly generated or not, means how it is generated, first thing. So for method,